Hello there, fellow trumpet players. Of course, I'm assuming that you're a trumpet player, or you wouldn't be watching this. My name is Chuck Pardue. I've been a professional trumpet player, soloist, and band leader for 43 years. And I want to share a story with you about my new trumpet. There are not many instruments in the history of American music and in the world's music that can truly be called legendary. I think of the Constellation and the Selmer Louis Armstrong model and the Olds recording trumpet or the Rafael Mendez, some of those trumpets that are held up as being iconic. And I want to tell you about one that is not only legendary, not only iconic, but is once again available for you to own. I'm going to tell you a brief story about the King Musical Instrument Company that was founded by Mr. Henderson White. The H.N. White Company was around from about 1893 to 1965. Mr. White started as a very young man looking for ways to improve the musical instrument of his day. He was a visionary guy. He wanted to see improvements in the instruments that people played. In 1894, he created the very first King trombone. And even at that point, musicians looked at it and said, this is a miraculous instrument. This is so far beyond what the rest of the industry is doing at that time. And on the strength of that instrument, he began to produce other instruments. By the 1920s, his business had grown to the point where he needed to begin the first of several expansions. In the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, the King Musical Instrument Company, under the ownership of the White family, were held up as being special instruments. At one point in time, you had Ziggy Oman, Charlie Shavers, Tommy Dorsey, Charlie Parker, Ray Anthony, and many, many other musicians playing H.N. White produced King instruments. 1946, the White Company produced a trumpet they called the Super 20. The Super 20 was available in 3 bore sizes. The S1, which is a medium bore horn, the S2, which is a medium large, and the dual bore. The dual bore trumpet was a trumpet that actually started at a 458 bore size and expanded to a 468 coming out of the valve section. What that horn did was the dual bore gave a flexibility that up to that point no other trumpet had offered. You could play whisper quiet and get a big fat sound with it, or you could get an edgy sound with it, depending on how you produced an airstream. By 1951, Henderson White's widow, Edna, had displayed her marketing genius, and she began to reach out to other musicians that were very famous still in the jazz world especially, to try to get them to endorse their products. As I said, Tommy Dorsey was one of the ones that endorsed the trombones, and Charlie Parker was playing the Super 20 saxophone. But in 1952, Mrs. White began to solicit an endorsement from, at that time, the man that was held up as the world's greatest trumpet player, Harry James. Harry had been playing Selmer trumpet since 1938. So on a trip through Cleveland, Ohio, on a tour with his band, he stopped by the King plant to take a look at a horn that Mrs. White had made for him. And it was a Super 20 dual bore. He instantly fell in love with the concept. Although he had been playing a balanced action trumpets with the valve set forward for many years, and the Super 20 was not a balanced action horn at that point. So Harry switched in 1952 from the Selmer balanced action Harry James model to a dual bore Super 20, a stock production horn. And he played those stock production Super 20s for several months. In fact, one of his great albums, Trumpet After Midnight, shows Harry in the studio playing a stock Super 20 dual bore trumpet. Well, what I'm excited about telling you is that the H.N. White Company is again making these iconic, legendary trumpets available. In addition to some saxophones and trombones, but I'm a trumpet player. So what I have in my hand here that I'm about to show you is a H.N. White produced dual bore Harry James model balanced Super 20 Silversonic. The Silversonic means that it has a sterling silver bell. And if any of you have ever played or heard anybody play a sterling silver bell, it produces a sound that resonates and it has the ability to cut through any type of a musical ensemble. But the thing I love about this is that I can play with a very big fat sound, or I can play a real edgy lead trumpet or trumpet soloist type of a sound with this horn. And the nice thing about this horn is it's brand new, but it was actually built in 1952, and the H.N. White Company refurbished it and made the beautiful horn that you see in my hands. As you can tell just by looking at it, the gold-plated bell, the gold-plated valve caps, valves, slides. Of course, they've engraved my name on it to appease my ego. And the beautiful etching of the original king is still here with the silver and the gold. But let me just give you a couple of notes so you can see the flexibility of this instrument. Pay no attention to the band you hear in the background. Our band is beginning rehearsal without me. But if I want to play very soft ballad trumpet, I can do that. See, it gives you a really fat midsection and low registers. But if I want to take that up into the key of G, I can get a sound like this. A lot of flexibility with this instrument. If you're interested in seeing what the H.N. White Company can provide for you in an iconic legendary instrument, go to hnwhite.com and check out the inventory that they have available. And we're also excited about the possibility that we have of recreating these horns brand new. And so go to hnwhite.com and check out the King instruments that they make. Thanks so much.